Welcome to the goals section of the game plan. This is your first step in creating your own personal scoring blueprint. Let's go over a few of the key features that you'll see on this page. On the left-hand side, you'll see Choose Your Par level, with Standard Par, Par plus 1, and Par plus 2 as options. Below that, you'll see a series of sliders. These contain the core areas of your game, such as fairways in regulation, greens in regulation, birdies, successful scrambles, 3-putts, and penalty error strokes. As you slide any of these sliders left or right, you'll be able to see how those affect your projected score. The first step in setting your actual goals is to choose a proper par level, depending on your skill level. This is a unique feature of the game plan that allows all stats to be relevant to all skill levels. Here's how this works. For example, a standard green in regulation is defined as hitting a par 4 in 2 shots, a par 5 in 3 shots, etc., allowing you 2 putts to make par. If you choose a par plus 1 level, you would just add 1 stroke onto all these different stats. For example, a greens in regulation on a par 3 would allow for 2 shots now to hit that green in reg. On a par 4 you would get 3 shots, on par 5 you would get 4 shots. This would also apply to the birdie stat. Now a par 3 becomes a par 4, a par 4 becomes a par 5, par 5 becomes a par 6, and scoring 1 under that qualifies as a birdie. Setting this bogey par is a great way to target that first under 90 round. So now that you understand how the par level works, let's talk about the sliders on the left-hand side. To your left, you'll see fairways in reg, greens in reg, birdies, etc., each with a slider above it. As you move this slider, you'll see that it changes your projected score. The key here when getting started is to try and set these where you think you're currently at. So if you think you average about 7 fairways around and you think you average about 10 greens around, why not set all those stats to that level? What you'll see down below is a projected score. You might be surprised at how close this comes to your average scores in real life. Once you've got them there, you've got a starting point. At this point, you may choose to save your goals. If you click Save My Goals, the page will close, and when you open your goals the next time, you'll see your current goals listed in the upper right side where it says Current Goals. From here, now we can begin to chart where we want to go. If I'm currently shooting, say, 86, and I want to break into the 70s, I know that I need to somehow reduce 7 shots. So let's try and find the areas of my game where that might be the most achievable. So let's hit, I don't know, 2 more greens per round, and let's try and make an extra birdie. And what happens if I move my successful scrambles, say, from 25% to 50%? These are going to greatly enhance my score, and I'm going to see it reflected on the screen before me. So as soon as I get to that proper projected score, I simply hit Save My Goals, and I've outlined the first step in this personal scoring blueprint. You may already be familiar with all the terminology on this left-hand side, but just in case, let's run through them. A fairway in regulation is simply hitting a tee ball that comes to rest in the fairway. A green in regulation is hitting the green at 2 less than whatever the par is. For example, on a par 4, the ball comes to rest on the green in 2 shots or less. A birdie is, of course, 1 stroke less than par. Successful scrambling percentage is the amount of time that you get the ball up and down on a hole where you've missed the green in regulation. For example, on a par 4, it's taken you 3 shots to get onto the green. If you knock that putt in, you've done a successful scramble. 3 putts is, of course, 3 putts. A penalty and error strokes would be anything that fits into the penalty error category. For example, an out of bounds would be a 2-stroke penalty. A water hazard with a lateral drop would be a 1-stroke penalty. An unplayable would be a 1-stroke penalty. You get the idea. Now that you know your way around the goals section, all that's left to do is hit save. As soon as you've saved your goals, you'll see them updated on all of your My Results graphs.